play that part, so she asked Colleen Baker to do so. So there's a tape there.
Colleen.
Okay, so play it on.
How pretty.
I was born April 8, 1808, in the newly created Simpson Bricks, Kentucky. My parents were farmers and they did the best they could. They raised cattle, cotton, and tobacco. Some raised the Methodist faith. They tried to do what was right and what God wanted me to do.
You're not writing that book again now, are you?
Oh, come on, Caroline. You know I was born to write. No one will ever know our story unless we do not write and tell them about it.
Oh, John, what is so important is that this audience wants to know everything about it. Especially you. Even on the flip side, we lived a very honorable life. So what is so important that they need to know?
Excuse me, I almost forgot. Let me introduce you to my wife, Caroline. One Caroline Ferrazine Scheme.
Thank you, John.
And none other than Jesse Scheme. Found it in her heart to marry me on February 3rd, 1831. I'll never forget that day. John!
Well, you don't need to know everything.
But they've got to know the truth.
So what truth is it that is so important for these people to know?
Well, what I want these people to know this is about my conversion to the gospel and who John Noel Butler really is. Don't you think that's important?
Well, of course it's important, John. It's one of the most important times of our lives.
Well, that's what I've been trying to tell you about. You do remember that the Richards are coming, don't you? Oh, Caroline, they're coming with their friend from California. It's going to California and I go. You see, his name is James Miller.
James Miller?
Yes. He wants to learn more about the Mormons and why Franklin did what he did because he met the Sugar Creek Bible.
John, if I told you once, I told you a million times, you can't go pushing people into the
Until
gospel.
they're already on their way in. That must be them. Would you please at the door?
Oh, Brother Franklin, come on in.
Franklin, how you doing? This is my wife, Kate, and this is James Miller. This is family all the way in California when I get old. This is my wife, Caroline.
Come on in, have a seat then. Kate has worked on this quilt over there. I'm sure you can handle it.
Oh, they've been working on that for years. I don't think they'll ever get it done.
Thank you for having me over here tonight. I realize it's short notice.
Don't think nothing of it.
Well, the reason I'm here is last time I saw Franklin was in Sugar Creek. And he'd been called on a mission to England. And he left his family and all to go. Well, I couldn't believe just such a thing. And when I heard he was here in Utah, well, I had to stop by and see him and also learn more about your church. And that's when he started telling me stories like you, John. So here I am.
I hope they're good stories.
Caroline?
Well, I've come to both of you tonight to find out what brought you to take your family here out of the city and to come out to a place, well, let's just not say it's the most desirable place here in Salt Lake.
Well, I know that you may not understand why we did the things that we did. But perhaps we could help. Well, if I remember right, they used to think it was a great big deal about the Olympics in Kentucky, especially in the years 1829 and 1830. This was the biggest controversy I ever saw.
You're so right, John. I remember I was reading everything that I could get my hands on at the time, and I still couldn't find it. All this by the age of 10. Just stating the facts again.
Well, now, John, everyone already knows that there are a lot of churches out there saying, now, we're going to church over here, and I'm
what we both found out was, that is, John nor I, as well as many others, could really find out what the truth really was at that time. All the churches were claiming that they were the true church. Think of it, James. They couldn't all be right. I was a congregationalist, and I didn't feel that I had it all at that time.
That's right. I think it's been an honest church, just a fine church.
Well, as I said, the various churches were trying to get us to go to the mourner's bench and pray for the conversion of our soul. Well, I didn't believe in that. But I just decided to I still need to change my life.
Oh, I'll turn it out for that.
Oh, Carolyn is always doing that to me. Well, as I was saying, I decided to pray and ask God to forgive me a sinner. You know, as I was praying, the burden left me. That struck such a big effect to me. My wife, that I was just amazed. Because also a voice came to me that said, "You have yet to preach the gospel to the world." Well, I still didn't know which church to join. But I continued on with the Methodist, and my father went 15 to 20 miles just to find someone who would baptize 6 or 7 of us who was a
You know, John, I didn't agree with my church either. I even turned down an opportunity to be educated in the ministry of a leading New England college at one point.
Here you go again. You turned down a great opportunity for repentance. I just don't understand.
James, it has a lot to do with what the Spirit felt in that.
That is so true.
I agree, but why with me?
Now, John, don't you remember what happened to you when you were baptized?
Oh, indeed I do, but you have to remind me.
Yes, indeed. It was something else. You were so embarrassed over the whole thing. Your whole breath, there was no question at all.
Well, I couldn't believe that they would be so cruel just because I'd seen a vision or two. Well, I decided to go with the Baptists at that point. They wanted me to preach the predestination doctrine. Well, I didn't believe in the predestination doctrine. I knew what the Spirit had told me to preach, but they told me that God would chastise me till I would obey. I decided I'd go with the Baptists at that point, so I was baptized in their church.
You still got baptized? You didn't believe in their church? You still got baptized? Why'd you do that?
Well, it was the closest I could find.
I felt the same way. Here we were looking for the truth and not knowing where to find it. It was very frustrating.
All right, you are. Here I am being baptized twice and still don't feel any spirits.
John, don't so hard on yourself. Everybody's
I just couldn't believe how long it took all to figure out all I was doing. What God wanted to know to do.
Well, it was frustrating. I know we wanted to know the truth, but we didn't know where to find it. It was very frustrating.
At this point, it really got worse.
It gets worse?
Yes, it really got bad. At that point, I was really getting upset. My mind was so rebellious that, well, put up my I decided to quit going to church because there was so much contention that I couldn't comprehend it. I was quit reading the Bible. I couldn't comprehend that either. What? Oh, I couldn't go to church. And rightly so, I felt hurt. And when I headed home, I decided that if he would not answer my prayers when I asked him, I could pray again. If he would not answer me, so I decided to halt my request.
James, there comes a point in every man's life when he just has to know the truth. And John was rapidly reaching that point. The problem was that he had no idea what to do.
So you decided to do nothing?
But Carolyn, he would never tell me. Was I so evil that I could not get an answer? Oh, that one? Well, when I came home, I found out my fruit trees had been destroyed. all sad.
That's pretty bold in my eyes.
I would have to agree with that. But what were we to do? We were both looking for the truth. Was that too much to ask for?
I don't think it's too much to ask for. Yeah, a little bold. John, shame on you. You could have gotten yourself killed.
Oh, I don't think so. I really don't. But it just made me angry. I couldn't figure out why you wouldn't answer me. I looked up and I saw lightning flashes. I said, I know you can pop away if you may, but I will neither preach nor pray nor attend church meetings anymore. For you would not answer me, so I will be just as independent as God. Please, give me an answer.
I felt the same way. Oftentimes I would ask God, send me an answer.
Well, I continued my faith with God while feeding my horse in the barn. Again, I heard a voice. The voice said, I will set on you a refiner's fire. I looked around to see who was there, but there was no one there.
So you heard these voices, and you saw the truth, you prayed.
That's right. In fact, I'll tell you that for the first time in my life, I did receive an answer. I heard a voice. And when that voice came to me telling me these things, I realized I had been defying God. At that point, I decided to go back and reread Malachi. That's the refiner's fire. I decided to go back and pray back one more time. Harold, ever quit that? I know, but at least I got the right answer. As I was saying, interrupted, I went to a place where I often went to pray, about 50 feet from my home. I went in the field. I decided to pray to find out the truth. As I was praying, yeah, a voice came to me. But actually, what happened was I really wanted to know this answer. And that's why, if I would know the truth, I would be willing to do anything, even to the laying down of my life if necessary. And this voice came to me. It said, stand still and see the salvation of God. And that would be true. Well, at that point, a light shone around me. I was filled with the Spirit of God. And I saw clearly that God would establish His truth in our midst. And it would not be propping up as the sex of the day had continued to be. From that point on, I knew to look to something else different from any other church I had ever been to. I also told my brother often that the truth would come to an illiterate man, and it could not be put down.
Well, that's a relief.
My cousins came to me around that same time period. Here we were, praying to know the truth, trying to study to find it, and the Lord finally saw fit to answer our prayer.
This is incredible. You mean to tell me that within a year of each other, we both began to learn more about the church?
That's right. Brigham Young and Joseph, my cousins, came to our home, brought us a copy of the Book of Mormon. They told us to read it and to pray about it, and if we would, that the Lord would answer our prayers, and we would know the truth.
Well, as I remember, it was March 1st, Their names were James Emmett and Peter Dunstan. I found out that James developed Kentucky.
It was their message that I was not
Well, that's
And what about you, Franklin? When did you finally make the change?
Let's see. As I recall, it was in the autumn of 1836. After careful study, my family finally decided to join the church, and I followed them somewhat later.
some a little longer than others, dear.
Well, I had a lot of questions.
I wanted some book. Most of you read the Book of Mormon and prayed about it, and you told me that Mormonism is true.
yes, but I do want to say one more thing. It happened to me before I was baptized, before we were baptized. I remember I was listening to the elders that last week, and I went to my bed and I was lying down, and again a voice came to me and said, "This is the truth that you've been hearing. Now choose or refuse." At that point, it was so important to me that I decided I had to take this book and read it. You know, and just, when I read it, it gave me a special witness to know that it was true.
And you prayed about the book, and you've done it. It was true.
That's right. That's right. That's our message, James. If you will take the time to read this book and pray about it, you can know the truth also.
That's right, James. The Lord has a mission for you and your family. He has a plan, and it's our testimony that you too can find out what the Lord has in store for you.
James, this is a book that we had just before we left Nauvoo. We want you to have it. We want you to read it, along with your family, and pray, and find out for yourself if it's true. I promise you that you will be able to find out if it's true.
James, the Lord has called me as a special witness. And I want to testify to you that what my friends have said to me tonight is true. If you will take the time to read this book, the Lord will answer your prayers and help you to know the truth.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to explain it to me. I'll take the book, and I'll read it. And maybe God will answer a man like me, too.
He will, James. I point, we bid our friends goodbye and started on our journey into a new adventure that many outside our church called Mormonism. I realized to myself that which I had embraced was truth from God. They made a county, they called it Caldwell County. The Saints moved there and they called it Far West.
Hey, John, the time to go, are you ready? You don't need up to the galaxy. You gotta get your lunch. Get something ready.
Brother Smith, good that you could join us. I figure someone's got to keep an eye on you guys.
Samuel.
You think they'll let us vote?
I don't know. I've heard tell that they're trying to stop us from voting, but I aim to get my vote in no matter what happens.
I don't doubt you, John, but I don't think it's going to be that easy. Guys, look over there. It looks like trouble to me. What do you think?
It doesn't look promising to me. I think I see Hiram Nelson. Let's go see what's going on.
All right, let's go.
Good afternoon, Hiram. It doesn't look like we're going to get your vote today.
Yeah, all I know is to find out who we are going to vote for.
So they're telling everyone the Mormons can't vote?
Well, they're saying this is the Mormon vote doesn't suit them this morning.
I heard tell them trying to do that by ruining the belief until now.
Wow, why try to take away our rights and liberty? That's against everything we stand for. I think they have a right to vote, so let's do it. What do you say?
I'm in.
Sure.
And so they went to cast their votes one by one until they'd almost finished.
John, that was one of the most scariest times you've ever been. I could not believe it.
Now, Carolyn, I'm just trying to let them know that we Mormons are real people, just like anyone else. We want our rights protected. In this case, our rights were denied.
And so you decided to fight for your rights even if you needed to die?
Yes, Carolyn, even if it meant death, it was not right what they did. But it was terrible what we had to do. But defending our rights would no longer be done by the government. We had to do it ourselves or fall by the wayside. Don't you understand?
Well, when you put it that way.
Well, so it was that they commenced to fight against us. I found a large piece of I began to push back until they let us alone. By the time I was finished, there were 8 to 10 people laying on the ground.
John, come on. We can't do more good here.
All right. Was there any more?
It appears they're going.
Well, some want to be that. Well, so it was the day I left the scene, and upon riding at the Smith's house, I found out that Brother McGee had taken our wagon back home. Well, he presumed I was dead. And at that election officer, he had the nerve.
Aren't you gonna vote?
That don't mean at all.
I told him that wasn't me. But
All you did was stop the ride.
well, the contention continued against us in the church as well as with Joseph and Anna.
Really good. That's proud
They
of
found
you.
a place called Congress that the state would let us go in order to build a community.
They eventually called the place Nauvoo, City Beautiful. Although at the time it was Kansas.
Director here.
You can say that again, but I dug in with all my might. And you know what? We actually prospered for a season.
It has become such a beautiful city.
Well, it was such a great place. We decided that it was a hard way to open the curtain. But the city just became a really prosperous place. I mean, it almost became 35,000 people living there. Then they decided to build a temple. Joseph and all of us got involved. We dug in and did everything we could to help with the work.
I remember that. It was in 1842. We commenced to build the temple of the Lord. The cornerstones were laid and dedicated by brothers Joseph and Hiram and some other brethren. Things were still flourishing in condition, and the kids were still industrious, and they were happy. And the Lord blessed them in all their undertakings.
And again, verily, thus saith the Lord, let the work of my temples continue and not cease, and let all the other works which I have given unto you continue. And let your persistence and your diligence and your patience and your works be redoubled, and you shall in no wise lose your reward. And if they persecute you, so persecuted they the prophets and righteous men who were before you. For all this there is a reward in heaven.
They built storehouses and granaries, and they were filled to overflowing by the blessings of God and by the industry of the saints. For they have to labor to get these things around them. Down in the bottom it was all swamp and low, wet places. The rains went through it, and they drained it all off so that it became dry and a great deal much more healthy. Brother Joseph built a nice large house. They called it the Nauvoo Mansion. It was a splendid building.
That's right, Carolyn. For a time, things went really well. And you know, at one point, everybody being called on missions, even Joseph Smith himself decided to run for president. But we know we didn't get elected, but he still did it, and that made the people feel so happy inside. Joseph would call everybody on missions. He called, he called, one of them was Franklin Richards. You remember that?
Oh, yeah. Just at our house here.
I know. But we called a lot of them, and we went all without any money.
I remember. It's hard.
We raised as much as we could, and it just was a wonderful experience. Even we received people went on one. A lot of things happened. Yeah.
Franklin D. Richards, the Lord has called you to serve a mission in England. There you shall preach the gospel and teach the people, and Franklin, hey, so good that you could come tonight. Thank you. Thank you for having us. Although we've noticed that you have yet to tell us why you've asked us to come. I suspect it has more to do with other things besides our friendship.
Now, Franklin Joseph wants to have us over unless he had a good reason. I'm sure that whatever it is, he'll get the job.
Jane, how do you know it's me he wants? Why, he may even want you to do some more tending to the temple preparations or something.
I guess you could say that, but I still think he wants you. I'll have to say that, well, whatever it is, I think he's got the right man for the job.
Yes, I must agree with you. Please, come in, have a seat.
Thank you.
Let's get right to it. I must say I'm anxious to tell you about the news. What news? Franklin, the Lord has called you to serve a mission in England. I was just finishing the instructions while you came over.
A mission?
Joseph, that is wonderful for you to ask of me. But what about my family? And what about you? You need help here to keep the mobs away.
Yes, what about me and our family? What will we ever do without him with us?
I just must tell you that the Lord is with us always. And if I'm to die, that I will do freely. The Lord wants you to serve a mission, and he will protect you and your family as you serve. Yes, Jane, the Lord will be with you as you allow your husband to serve. And frankly, the Lord will inspire you as you fulfill your calling to him. I don't know what to say. When shall I go? It's all detailed here in the instructions. But beware of those who will destroy you. The Lord will bless you and your family as you serve. I just don't know what to say. Just say yes. Of course, but...
Franklin, didn't you hear Joseph? He said we'll be fine. So go on, do it.
No buts. Just take the Spirit of the Lord with you and serve your mission. All right, Joseph. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
That is hard. Remember? You told us that. Never forget that one.
I'm going like a lamb to the slaughter. Yet I'm as calm as a summer's morning. I have a conscience clear of offense towards God and toward all men. I shall die an innocent man, and it shall be said of me, he was murdered in cold blood.
That was the last time that we saw Joseph alive. We bid him farewell. We begged him to allow us to go, but he sent us back to our family, and he blessed us before we left. And at that point, Franklin had been called back from his mission to England, and many other general authorities of the church had returned as well to bid farewell to our fallen prophet. Should only live true to their faith, and true to their God, and obey the counsels that were given to them from time to time. The Lord is near them to bless them. He has truly blessed us in all our journeys. He is ever with us.
Oh, Rich, you are good. It's just a hard way to learn things. But we made it. And we did it.
Wasn't that wonderful? We're going to have a little fun now with the ward choir doing a little caper that, if you please, is called A Most Peculiar Battle Hymn of the Republic, and I have no idea what that means. So, ward choir, Lupita, go. And if you don't belong now, join now.
She wasn't seeing a whole lot of it up here.
I don't know the words at all. One grasshopper. Okay.
One grasshopper jumped right over the other grasshopper's back. One grasshopper jumped right over the other grasshopper's back. One grasshopper jumped right over the other grasshopper's back. One grasshopper jumped right over the other grasshopper's back. Glory, glory, how peculiar! Glory, glory, how peculiar! Glory, glory, how peculiar! While one grasshopper jumped right over the other grasshopper's back. One flea fly flew up the flue while the other flea fly flew down. One flea fly flew up the flue while the other flea fly flew down. One flea fly flew up the flue while the other flea fly flew down. One flea fly flew up the flue while the other flea fly flew down. Glory, glory, how peculiar! Glory, glory, how peculiar! Glory, glory, how peculiar! While one flea fly flew up the flue, the other flea fly flew down. One eager, 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 don't you see? The other eager, eager, eager. One eager, 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 the other eager, eager, eager. One
wasn't grim as the pioneers crossed the plains at night when they circled their wagons. They danced, and they frolicked, and they did such things as that silly song. Thanks a lot. That was great. We now are going to be treated to a historical event, and I call upon James Keegan, who is going to narrate this.
This is a historic day in the history of the restored church. 3 days prior, the Prophet Brigham Young had taken ill with the Rocky Mountain spotted fever and had to call a halt to the march westward from Salt Lake Valley. He ordered an advance party under the direction of Orson Pratt, along with 30 others, including his personal bodyguard, Porter Rockwell, to move ahead and to find a suitable pathway through the mountains to the Salt Lake Valley. I call upon you this day to use your imaginations as if you were really there. 150 years ago today, July 21st, 1847, Orson Pratt and Porter Rockwell arrived at the top of Little Mountain at the base of Immigration Canyon and see the great Salt Lake Valley for the first time. As the curtain opens, you will see their reaction and see how they reacted to this first event.
Yahoo! Praise God! We have found it, the Valley of the New Zion.
It doesn't look like much to me. It's just as Jim Bridger told us. A barren, alkaline desert. The prophet is going to be very disappointed.
To the contrary, Porter. I see a broad valley surrounded by snow-capped mountains, just as the prophet told us in some of his vision.
Brad, you have always been a visionary. All I see is one scrawny tree. But look, about 10 miles west, a little bit north, up against the mountain. Do you see the sun glistening on a stream of clear water?
Yes, I do, but it seems to be lined with trees. We should go down, set up camp there.
Let's do it.
There you have it. You were there. Exactly. Orson Pratt ordered part of the group to return and give the good word to the main contingent of the body of saints. And the rest of the group went down to the banks of what we now call City Creek and set up camp. 3 days later, President Brigham Young and the main group of pioneers entered the valley and made their way to the encampment. It was there that President Brigham Young, after seeing the expanse of the valley, lined with snow-capped mountains, that he made his famous statement, "This is the right place." You know the rest of the story.
Very well done. We took a little poetic license there. Now, if you historians in the audience know that it really was Erastus Snow and Orson Pratt. But you see, Erastus Snow wasn't a character. So we put Porter Rockwell. Now, Porter was there all right, but Erastus Snow and Orson Pratt had one horse between them, and they rode down in the valley, and later Porter came along. But you know, with Jeff Larson, we had to have a character, and he was great. Thank you very, very much. We got a real treat now. We're going to have the primary children sing some pioneer songs. Colleen Baker and Carol Estrada. Are you ready? There we go. Oh, okay.
Thank you.
You know, as you all know, the brainchild, the idea of this whole family evening has been because of their brother Don. And Brother Don really wanted to perpetuate the stories of the pioneers in our ward as far as their heritage. And so he had been working on a project with a committee of people as far as putting together stories of those members of our ward who have pioneer heritage. Tonight, Brother Don has made some award.
It's okay. It's okay.
Beautiful award that Brother Don had made, and he wanted to present these awards to those individuals who submitted stories. We have many more people that have pioneer heritage, but these are the ones that submitted stories about their ancestry. And the first person we would like to have come forward is Sister Annette Allred. The other person we have here, or a couple we have, is Brother John and Donna Baker. And also Colleen Baker. You know, if I can mention, Brother Don, I showed his awards previously when we were still putting the thing together, but it states there, Come Ye Saints, was the song there, and states here, Terra Vista Award honors its Mormon pioneer descendants to July 24th, 1997, and is a picture of the pioneer entering Salt Lake Valley, July 24th, 1847. The next person we have is Sister Susan Castagna. Sister Bess is on vacation, so we'll hold the award on the side for her. Also, we have Gail and Brent Deckers. And Brother Kevin Corral. And we have President John Hatfield. And Sister Catherine Dunn.
She didn't have her hearing aid turned out.
And also Randy Hall. Kevin Lister.
And while you're here, thanks for the great job on the play. Wasn't that good?
And last but not least, Carolyn Wakumoto. The other thing that we wanted to do was present some token of appreciation for those who have served on our sesquicentennial committee. Brother Don was the chairman. He came up with the idea, and we formulated a group of people, individuals, to help put it together. A lot of these people did put a lot of time and effort into this beautiful family home evening, and we really appreciate it. Brother Don was the main chairman of the program, but Kevin Lister directed and created the play that we saw tonight, and we appreciate Brother Lister also. The first person we wanted to recognize was Sister Laurie Wynn as our Billy Wynn. Sister Baker. Jerry Lester. Mr. Cheryl Escher, Sister Escher. Sister Smith, Marie Smith.
This is the committee that worked so hard, which we're very proud of, producing the booklet. The little plaque we made is the story of the use of the buffalo skull. If you looked over on the table, you saw the story behind that. And the buffalo skull on the plains was used as a bulletin board. And so this is reminiscent of the trek across the plains. And sometimes the message might be there's water there a mile south, or there is a extended family camp here. But these are the bulletin boards. So, Laurie Wynn, we thank you very much. Billy Wynn, thank you very much. Barbara Anderson has moved out of the war. What she done a month ago was a big one for her. Kevin, Cheryl Escher was our editor, did such a marvelous job. Gail Bankers, Mercury Smith. You are Barbara Anderson tonight. Now, we want to especially recognize two people. One, Gail Bankers, who did all of the work on safety. Billy Wynn was our publisher, who did a remarkable job. Thank you.
Yes. The other thing we wanted to do is, again, the committee put together this booklet of all the stories of the pioneers of our war. We would like to offer it to you on a very inexpensive price of $3.50, and hope that each of you would take the opportunity to purchase one of these books. There's some great stories, not only the stories of the members of our ward that have had pioneer ancestry, but also I noticed that Sister Dankers had put some other information in. Brother John had written some things about Hancock Company, some other pioneer stories in here. There's a lot of good information in these booklets, and we would have hoped that you take advantage of purchasing one of these booklets here for $3.50. The other thing that I wanted to do, really again, we appreciate Brother Dunn. Brother Dunn, all these awards, I offered to pay for it, as far as the war was concerned, and he said, no, they won't accept any money for these awards. He's just doing it out of the goodness of his own heart. And we really appreciate him. And we just wanted to have just a token of, like a little gift to Brother Dunn. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
At this time, we also want to let you know that there are some artifacts of the pioneers on the side there. We hope that you take some time to look through those things, but do not touch it. For example, Sister Bloom has second edition of the Book of Mormon there on the side. It's nice to look at, but we would appreciate it if you would not touch those artifacts on the side there, on the wall there, on those tables. And you could, be mindful of all that. We appreciate those who brought artifacts here to show us, and hope that you take advantage to look at it. This time, I'd like to again turn back the time over to Brother Dunn.
Thank you very much. I wanted again to tell the story behind the song. Our closing song will be Come, Come Ye Saints. And on the back of the plaque, we have written a story, and I should like to take just a moment to read it to you. William Clayton was the official clerk of the first Mormon pioneer migration from Nauvoo to Utah. Brigham Young was a prophet and a personal leader. Clayton and Orson Pratt, among others, kept complete and detailed diaries of the expedition. On April 4th, 1847, the pioneers established a temporary camp at Shoal Creek a little less than 100 miles from Nauvoo. In early April, the temperatures plunged below freezing at night. The morning sun eased the chill, but also began to melt the frozen mud. Inside the tent, beds began to sink into the mud. The conditions were almost unbearable, and the saints could find little comfort. Orson Pratt noted in his diary, and I quote, "To any but the saints, our circumstances would have been very discouraging, for it seemed to be with the greatest difficulty that we could preserve our animals from starvation, and we were obliged to send off several days' journey to Missouri settlements on the south to procure grain. Many of the people were nearly destitute of food, and many women and children suffered from exposure due to the inclemency of the weather and from the lack of necessities of life." On April 13th, the pioneers left the temporary settlement to continue on the Grand River, but getting there was not easy. They traveled a scant 6 miles in the following 3 days. It was a perilous and arduous journey, which caused a great deal of discouragement. William Clayton was inspired to compose a song to uplift their spirits and to encourage their future efforts. He wrote the words and he accompanied a familiar old English tune. He entitled it "All Is Well." On April 15th, Clayton received a message that his wife, Diane Cliff, who remained in Nauvoo, had given birth to a fine, fat boy on the 30th of March. It was at the campfire that night Clayton introduced the new song, partly to celebrate the good news of his new son, but also to encourage the pioneers. The song was immediately popular. It was sung at almost every campfire and often on the trail during the day. And by the time the pioneers reached the Salt Lake Valley, it had become known as Come Ye Saints. It is the most recognized Mormon hymn worldwide, and on the international tours of the Tabernacle Choir, it is one of the most requested songs. And now, my brothers and sisters, you have an opportunity to really render to the utmost this beautiful song as our closing song, after which we will be privileged to have a closing prayer by President John.